In terms of the fourth quarter, they had all but one of their buckets was inside the paint. Was that them just being able to get into the paint and get whatever they want because of that point of attack defense like you were talking about?
Yeah, they had that and 9 free throws.
The Indiana Fever were unstoppable. They crushed the Dallas Wings, steamrolled the Minnesota Lynx to claim their first Commissioner's Cup, and dismantled A'ja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces. 3 straight dominant wins, the momentum was undeniable. Even without Caitlin Clark, everyone expected them to breeze past the struggling Los Angeles Sparks, one of the weakest teams in the league. But what happened next left fans furious. A string of terrible calls by the referees flipped the game upside down. Stephanie White, boiling with frustration, could only manage 5 powerful words that summed up everything wrong with the WNBA's officiating. Drop your thoughts about the refs in the comments. We need to talk about this.
We should have won this game. There was inconsistencies in the officiating. Wait until you see the second half. And I have everything.
The Fever came into this game without their star player, but no one could have predicted what unfolded. Caitlin Clark was sidelined for the 5th straight game due to a left groin injury, watching from the bench. Her absence was felt immediately. Without her playmaking, scoring threat, and elite court vision, Indiana looked like a completely different team. Clark is the engine that drives their offense, and without her, the Fever struggled to find their rhythm.
Finding out this morning that we probably need to hold out again today. It's just, it really is a day-to-day thing. And I think for us, making sure that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness. It's anybody who's had some of these types of injuries understand that sometimes it's a process. She's a quick healer, and she's been doing everything that she can to get back on the floor. So, we just want to make sure that we're hypersensitive to the big picture.
But that wasn't the whole story. Dawana Dantas was away representing her country in the FIBA Amara Cup, forcing the Fever to shuffle their rotation and lose a key contributor with size and veteran experience off the bench. Then came the shocker. Dana Bonner officially left the team. In one swift blow, Indiana was down 3 crucial players. Still, the odds seemed to be in their favor. ESPN's matchup predictor gave them a 72.9% chance to win. MGM had them favored by 6.5 points. Despite the absences, most believed the Fever had more than enough talent to handle business, especially against the Los Angeles Sparks, one of the WNBA's bottom-tier teams struggling all season. The Fever had just come off an impressive 3-game winning streak. Aaliyah Boston was playing at an elite level, Kelsey Mitchell had stepped up as a vocal leader, and the team chemistry looked sharp. Everything pointed toward an easy win, until it didn't.
Howard looking backdoor for Mitchell, not there. Shot clock down to 7. McDonald feed inside, and it's Howard for 2. It's good record.
But beneath the surface, cracks were beginning to show. Without Caitlin Clark, the Fever's offense had noticeably slowed. The ball movement lacked energy and purpose, and Aaliyah Boston wasn't getting the touches she needed to control the paint, like she usually does. The offensive system that thrived with Clark at the helm was starting to unravel. Yes, the Fever still had multiple all-star level players, and on paper they should have had no problem. The Sparks, on most nights, were simply fighting to stay competitive. So, how did Indiana manage to lose this game? That's the question everyone's asking.
I don't get it. Breanna Stewart, A'ja Wilson, wait until you see what they did for Kelsey Plum tonight. They get all the calls, touch fouls, anything. And guess what happens? Aaliyah Boston, the best center in the game, and guess what happens to her? She gets called for every touch foul and ends up in foul trouble this entire season and is still putting up MVP type numbers. What happens with Caitlin Clark? Have you ever seen her get a touch foul? A phantom call? No. The physicality, that's the WNBA when it comes to Caitlin Clark. But anybody else, the physicality disappears. And it's foul after foul.
Expectations were sky high. Everyone assumed that pure talent alone would be enough to fill the gaps. The Fever had already proven they could win big games, and they still had players performing at a championship level. With the talent Indiana had left, most thought the Sparks would be easy work. But a perfect storm was brewing. Missing key pieces created the ideal conditions for disaster. Caitlin Clark's leadership had been the glue holding everything together during their winning streak. Without her running the offense, the chemistry started to crack. Role players, who thrived in their lanes, were suddenly asked to do more, to step outside their comfort zones. As the game tipped off, those absences became glaring. The pressure mounted, and the cracks widened.
What does it take to get a team to be more consistent, especially from you on the coaching side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple things. You know, there's always got to be a high attention to knowing personnel. You know, oftentimes you don't get a lot of practice time, and so going over a lot of their sets, which you do, but at the end of the day, making sure we know our personnel, who we're going to run off the three-point line, you know, what we're willing to give up. You know, we've got to make sure that there's a high attention to detail there.
Despite the team's struggles, 3 players refused to let the Fever go down without a fight, and leading that charge was Aaliyah Boston. She dominated from start to finish, putting up a performance worthy of a win. 23 points, 12 rebounds, and a commanding presence in the paint. Boston knocked down 9 of 17 from the field and went 5 of 7 at the line, finally getting the touches she deserved when it mattered most. She reminded everyone exactly why she's one of the league's most special talents.
Here's Mitchell off the screen, but can't connect on the 3. Boston offensive rebound, rolls it in and a foul. The 2 bigs bring the ball up the floor, and Hamby wasn't ready for that.
How about that change of pace and burst like a guard, gets downhill to the rim.
A guard rose to the occasion. In Caitlin Clark's absence, Kelsey Mitchell delivered in a big way. She hit 3 clutch three-pointers and totaled 19 points, stepping up exactly when the team needed a scoring spark. Mitchell also hit a major milestone, playing her 251st game with the Fever, second only to the legendary Tamika Catchings in franchise history. Her leadership was evident throughout the night, keeping Indiana competitive against a team they were expected to beat with ease.
Lob inside, Boston too far underneath, shot clock down to 5, kick out Mitchell, oh yes!
But that wasn't all. Natasha Howard lit up the scoreboard with her veteran presence. She was nearly flawless, finishing with 21 points and 9 rebounds. Howard knocked down an impressive 8 of 11 shots from the field, including 1 of 2 from beyond the arc, and added 4 of 6 from the free throw line. Her impact was felt on both ends of the court, providing crucial scoring and steady leadership when the Fever needed it most.
Busted them all up. We went to the same high school.
Howard left alone, answers with a 3.
These 3 players put the entire team on their backs. They delivered championship-caliber performances against an opponent that was expected to crumble under pressure. Aaliyah Boston dominated the paint like the all-star she is. Kelsey Mitchell hit clutch shots that kept the Fever within striking distance, and Natasha Howard, with her veteran poise, made plays younger players simply couldn't. Picture it, Boston commanding the inside, Mitchell scoring from every angle, and Howard making savvy, momentum-shifting plays. The energy shifted. The comeback felt within reach. The crowd could feel it. Indiana was closing in.
LA is so dangerous. They don't look like a 5-win team to me.
Oh, and there's Tipson sending it back.